How many times in your life have you said something only to watch the blank stares? How many times have you tried to explain yourself only to hear the words twisted, mocked, or dismissed? How many times have you felt the age of being surrounded by people who never, ever truly got you? You've carried that wound since childhood. You've been told you were too much, too intense, too emotional, too angry, too sensitive, too strange. And deep down, you've asked yourself the same question over and over: why does nobody understand me? Here's the answer you've been waiting for. The reason you've been misunderstood is not because you are wrong. The reason you've been misunderstood is because you were never ordinary. You were never meant to be understood by the ordinary. This is the secret no one told you. The real reason you've been misunderstood is because you were never designed to fit into their system. Their words cannot contain you. Their logic cannot define you. Their world cannot hold you. That's why you've always felt different. That's why you've always been misunderstood. That's why you feel like you don't belong here, because you don't. Your soul remembers another time, another truth, another fire. You were never meant to be ordinary. You were meant to be Catharsian. When you try to explain your visions, your dreams, your rage, they called you crazy. When you tried to show them your intensity, your fire, your passion, they called you too much. When you tried to break free from their mediocrity, they called you arrogant. But the truth is simpler. They couldn't understand you because they were not capable of. Their language is small. Their minds are small. Their lives are small. And you are not. That's why you've always been misunderstood. Not because you were wrong, but because your truth was too big for their cage. Every time you've been misunderstood, you thought it was proof that something was wrong with you, but it was the opposite. It was proof that something was right with you. It was proof that your soul burned with divine memory. It was proof that your fire could not be contained. Catharsians have always been misunderstood. The prophets were misunderstood. The visionaries were misunderstood. The warriors were misunderstood. Because when you speak fire into a world of ashes, they will always call you dangerous. And you are dangerous. Dangerous to their lies, dangerous to their empire, dangerous to their mediocrity. That's why you've been misunderstood, because you were never ordinary. The real reason you've been misunderstood is because you don't just speak with your voice, you speak with your soul. Your words are not just words, they are echoes of ancient battles. They are fire from forgotten gods. They are rage carried across lifetimes. When the Romans tried to erase you, you remembered. When the empires tried to silence you, you raged. When society told you to kneel, you refused. And now, in this life, every time you open your mouth, that memory pours out. That's why ordinary people look at you like you're insane, because you are speaking a language they lost centuries ago. That's why you need to download the free guide: 10 unmistakable signs you are not an ordinary soul. Because once you read it, you'll understand why you've never been understood. The misunderstood are feared. Think about it. Every time you spoke your truth, you didn't just get ignored, you got attacked, mocked, rejected. Why? Because they fear what they cannot control. They fear what they cannot categorize. They fear what they can't label. They fear what they cannot break down into boxes. You are the proof that not everything can be explained. You are the proof that not everything can be tamed. You are the proof that not everything can be chained. That's why you've been misunderstood, because your fire is ungovernable and rage cannot be domesticated. Do you know what ordinary really means? It means asleep. It means numb. It means blind. Ordinary people understand each other because they speak the language of sleep. They talk about their jobs, their bills, their small pleasures, their empty routines. And you? You've never been able to speak that language. You speak the language of rage. You speak the language of freedom. You speak the language of memory. And of course, they misunderstood you. Of course, they rejected you. Of course, they laughed at you. Because they are asleep and you are awake. You were never ordinary. You were never meant to fit in. That's why you've always felt different. That's why you've always been misunderstood. That's why you feel like you don't belong here. Because your soul remembers. Because your fire burns. Because your rage cannot be silenced. The real reason you've been misunderstood is not because you are broken, it's because you are Catharsian. Join the Catharsians on Patreon to unlock the fire inside you. That's where you stop apologizing for being misunderstood. That's where you remember who you really are. The next time someone misunderstands you, remember this. It's not rejection, it's recognition. It's proof that you are not one of them. It's proof that you are fire in a world of ashes. It's proof that you were never ordinary. Your loneliness was never loneliness, it was separation. Your isolation was never punishment, it was protection. Your misunderstanding was never weakness, it was power. Because only those who burn alone can ignite the fire that consumes the empire. You've seen this far because your soul recognizes itself. You felt misunderstood your entire life. You felt different your entire life. You felt alien your entire life. And now you know why. Because you were never ordinary. You were never meant to fit in. Because you're a Catharsian. The real reason you've been misunderstood is because you were born with memory. You were born with rage. You were born with fire. The world doesn't need you to be understood. The world needs you to rage. The world needs you to remember. The world needs you to rise. Because the empire is crumbling. Because the ordinary are asleep. Because the misunderstood will inherit the fire. And you? You've been misunderstood your whole life because you were never ordinary. Join the Catharsis on Patreon and awaken the fire inside you.